Hey guys, why does this shot look bad? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. I'm going to talk to you about how to avoid making your shot look terrible like this, and what the principle is behind this, and how you can start making your shots look a lot more professional. This shot doesn't look right. If you're watching it, you pretty much can tell right away that there's something wrong, right, to the visual eye. And what you're obviously gonna say is that, well, there's a whole amount of space kind of on this side of me, so why would I stand so far away in the shot, right? So to make this shot a little bit more appealing, what we would wanna do is kind of be in this sort of position, right? Now this is a little bit better. I am looking at a monitor here, so I'm hoping this looks right. So this is a little bit better, so I'm kind of sitting on one of the kind of visually pleasing lines, which we'll kind of get to in a moment. This is obviously probably the most ideal location for me to be standing in this shot, because I'm right in the middle and it looks good. So let's talk a little bit about what this actually is. So what we're referring to in this video, what I want to talk about, is the rule of thirds. Now the rule of thirds is basically a principle where we split up the frame into a grid of 9 different boxes, right? So you'll kind of see box here, there, got these boxes over here, and then we got these ones right there too, okay? So this is the rule of thirds. This is the grid that we would normally reflect on when we're taking a shot. So how do we use this grid, and how do we kind of apply this to our shots to try and create a good looking shot? So the theory is that if you position your subject, and in this case I'm the subject, on one of the lines in the grid, then it's right here, right there and there, yeah. So if I was basically positioned on one of the lines in the grid, it would be a more visually appealing shot. So if I was kind of like here, this is fine. This would be visually appealing. Now, you know, the term visually appealing is quite subjective. It kind of depends on what you like to see. But we're just going to base this on simply black and white, on the facts of what the rule of thirds kind of tells us, right, in terms of photography and videography. So this is good. This is also good, so I'm still on one of the grid lines in the rule of thirds. This suddenly is bad because it's obviously really out of proportion in terms of where I should be in the frame. Now the middle's cool too. Like, you know, a lot of the time when you see content online, people stand in the middle of the frame. It's completely fine, right? It's not the most artistic thing in the world. You know, the rule of thirds kind of is a concept that I believe is more kind of lean towards photography. So when you're taking really nice shots of a landscape, you know, it could be a big, I don't know, aerial shot or something, I don't know, whatever you're taking a picture of. But in photography, the rule of thirds is quite a lot more prevalent, I think. And you can get some really nice kind of images if you follow that principle of the rule of thirds. In videography, it is really much the same thing, but sometimes when you're just standing kind of like a little bit off in a shot like this, it's okay, but it isn't something that we would probably do for this kind of shot. If I was closer to the camera, am I okay to walk closer to the camera? So look, if I get closer to the camera, right, let's get like here-ish. God. So if I'm here, if I'm in the middle of over here, it's okay, but also if I was kind of off center here, it still looks okay because I'm close. And the reason it looks okay that I'm close now is because I'm filling up quite a lot of the frame. So if you see, I'm kind of filling up almost 2/3 of the frame here, which, because I'm close up, that looks okay. But if I'm all the way back over here, and I'm kind of like here, now the problem with this shot is that we've got all this empty space, right? And it doesn't look that appealing. Another way that we can make it look better, if this was a shot, is if we had something interesting on this side of the shot. So if we had like a prop, or if we had, I don't know, let's say we had that table in the back and it was like more kind of over here, or if we had another person, so if Dan's a prop, you know, this now suddenly becomes a lot better. So we're taking up one individual line in the rule of third, so it kind of makes more sense. And in that way, the shot's fine. If we were like this though, if I was over here and Dan's there, then all of a sudden we have this massive empty space in the grid, so that looks shit, right? So we need to be using this grid to basically compose the shots in the best possible way. So what's wrong here? Well, obviously you can't see my head right now, but if we use the grids, so we've got one grid here, one line here, right? So what you want to do is this top line when you're looking at the grid is kind of where you want to have your eyes, okay? So we use this as a reference point for the eyes. It's a great little tool to use. So if I come down a little bit, just here, this is a good place to be. I'm doing a kind of a reverse lunge thing here, so my leg is going right now. Done legs yesterday. So if I'm here, the eye line right here is quite good. The height is good. If I'm like here, too high, head's cutting off. If I'm down here, this isn't good either, right? Because now we have this massive box on top of my head, so it's not really a good place to be. But here, we're good. Again, if I just come this side a little bit, here, looks okay. I'm filling up about 2/3 of the grid. Again, we're gonna get my nose right into the center of that kind of point there, where the two lines meet. So that's a good place to be. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly on the point, like it is just a visual reference, right? So right here, we're good. And right here, we're good too, right? So that's how we look at kind of like headspace. Now, you do want to kind of have a little bit of headroom there. It depends on the size of their head, I guess. So like here, I think I'm good. Up here, I am cutting off a bit of my hair and it might be a bit too high, but around here, I think I'm okay. Another thing to take into consideration is the space in which we are facing. So let me show you an example. If I was looking this way, right, and I'm facing here, something looks wrong about this shot because I'm actually looking into the direction where there isn't really any space in the frame. It's very odd because my body is facing the closed kind of area of the shot. Whereas if I face this way and I talked, all of a sudden this looks a lot better because I'm now talking into the space. It's almost as though I'm being interviewed and I'm talking to somebody over there. So when you watch a documentary on TV, you'll notice that when they're interviewing somebody, a subject on screen, they will always kind of have this space in the direction that they're facing because it looks a lot more visually appealing. It makes more sense because it looks like I'm looking into the direction of somebody. When I'm sat this way, again, you can see that there's something really strange about looking at me, looking in that direction when the camera is framed in that way. So that's another way that we can use this grid to help us to compose a much better shot. Another way that we can use this rule of third principle is to look at the foreground, middle ground, and background of a shot, right? So the way that we do this is we kind of use this bottom kind of part of the grid as the foreground of the shot. So right now, you can see in the bottom kind of third, this is like the bar kind of surface area in the front. To make this more apparent, I can get like a can and I'll put it in the front over here, right? So that now becomes the kind of like the foreground object, right? So that now sits there and it allows us to get a little bit of depth. Now I would be deemed the middle, okay? Now in this particular shot, we're not really getting the best of this, this principle because the background is quite close to me. It's like right here, right? So, but if we had more space behind me and this kind of background was a little bit further back, maybe by 6 or 10 feet, we would be able to create a much stronger kind of impression of the foreground, middle ground, and background because of the fact that the back would be much further back, but I'm kind of blended in with the back. But look, the principle still works here. We're using this bottom grid as the foreground, so you can see the can over here, that's the front, and then myself and the wall behind me and the TV, that's kind of considered our background and middle ground kind of merged into one in this particular example. So not the best use, but it still works, the principle still works, and that's kind of how it goes. Maybe we could try another example over there somewhere. Let's see if we can get another setup to make it look a bit more specific for this example. Now, in this example, we can kind of do it the other way where we're using the grid in a vertical fashion. So we've got Tom here who can step in and take over kind of one vertical third of the grid. Can you see that? Cool, so now you've got Tom playing the part of the foreground in one of the vertical grids, then you got me in the middle, and then we've obviously got the background. So this is probably a better example than the last one of how you can use this grid to split the scene into kind of the three segments of that scene. So another thing just to consider here is, depending on the lens you're using, you can obviously create more depth of field. So if you've got a wider lens, you are gonna struggle to get that really nice depth of field. So if you're super, super wide, you might not get that really nice blurry background, but if you punched in, you'll be able to obviously get a lot stronger depth of field in terms of what's behind me. So if you are trying to kind of get that more separation from the foreground and the background, just punch your lens in and you'll get that effect. So one other thing that we just kind of wanted to cover there was if you were shooting something kind of wide and big, like a nice, super sexy scenery on a beach or some I don't know, wherever you're gonna be, probably nowhere right now, but you know, if you were shooting something super big, city, beach, sea, lots of landscape and that kind of thing, then how would you frame that in a shot? So a good way where you could use the rule of thirds here is just think about kind of like, if you were to separate these elements out. So if we look at sea level, so you would try and get the water or the sea or whatever kind of in this range here. So that's where you kind of get your foreground setting. And then your sky is obviously going to be sitting more in the kind of top lines of the grid. And then in the middle is everything else. So depending where you are, you might have some skyscrapers if you're somewhere nice. So that's pretty much how you would split out that kind of shot. Another thing that I thought we would cover is, you know, when you're out on your holidays, whenever that's going to be, and you're, you know, on the nice Mexico beach, you're going to get that great shot on your phone. I just want to show you kind of like the best way to compose that kind of shot. So let's say this is the frame. Okay, so typically what people would do is they would get the horizon of the shot kind of in the middle. So that's kind of like where you would be. You'll kind of get the water in the middle there, and then you have your sky kind of like up here with the birds and the sky. And so that's kind of like the typical layout you would have. But what would make that shot look like a million times better is if you actually get the horizon in the lower third. So this is where the kind of the grid really comes in handy. It helps you to compose the best shot. So if we get the horizon here, then your sky is positioned nicely in that top kind of section over here. And then you have all the, you know, middle kind of stuff, whatever that might be in the middle here. So it could be buildings, it might be your mountains and whatever else. And that's a much more pleasing shot than the other one. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go out and actually take a couple of shots. And whilst we're doing this, we'll kind of show you the comparisons between the two different ways in which we can use these kind of grid and the rule of thirds. So you'll kind of see like a bad version of the shot, and then you'll also see a more pleasing version. So let's have a look at some of these shots. I hope you took something great away from that video. It's a really simple rule, but it's going to take your videography skills and your photography skills a whole lot further. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you hit the like button, comment below, let us know if there's other stuff you want to watch and you want us to create, and we will see you in the next video.